Good morning and welcome to Coach and Company Live on the Stadium Network. Thank you for waking up and getting your day started with us. I am Daniel Greer, stepping in for Coach today again. And I know everybody's excited about me being back on the show, but Coach had a successful weekend just covering the entire Memorial Tournament, whether it was on ESPN Bet, ESPN Plus. He was everywhere, where once again we saw Scotty Scheffler win. The dude is continuing to dominate. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about that, especially when Coach returns. But speaking of Coach, we got Coach and Bro tonight, or actually later today. It's live at 5 p.m. on BTT Studios on the YouTube channel. But also, we have the last word where the full crew will be here to discuss immediately following the Monday Night Raw, where maybe even Raphael might even make a special appearance. Also, do not forget about weekday wagers today with Mark and myself. We'll be back here today on the Coach and Company YouTube channel at 1 p.m. Eastern. Well, do not forget about the Demerbox giveaway. You can go ahead and sign up for your chance to win the BTT Studios branded Demerbox. Just go ahead and look at your screen. It's beautiful. All you have to do is very simple to sign up, and you can have your chance to win that beautiful red Demerbox. All right. Well, we are locked and loaded here on a beautiful Monday morning. We're going to talk a little bit of hoops, a little baseball, maybe even some hockey. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and beat the books. Well, good morning to everyone, but Nonsense McGee here watching on YouTube as he's booing me in the chat because I am not Coach. But we're going to continue to move on. Raphael, good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning, DG. Good morning, everybody. I think he's booing you because you're not King Lettuce, not Coach. But that's another story. That's another show. But I hope everyone had a great weekend. It's going to be a great week.
Yeah, the weekend was phenomenal. We'll get into a little bit of the weekend rewind coming up very shortly. But the other guy, the man in the middle, Mike, how are you, sir?
Good morning, everyone. And you know what? I'm not booing. I'm happy you're hosting the show. Not more happy that Coach is in here, but very happy you're sitting in the pilot chair today.
All right, the last guy. This guy was with me on weekday wagers this last Thursday. Me and you both hit our bets. We talked a little bit of live baseball. We might even have some more live baseball on weekday wagers with Big Chuck. But good morning, sir.
Morning, D to the G and company. Yeah, I appreciate you all having me on. I don't know if I'll be able to come back, but I appreciate the opportunity each time y'all bring me on. Another winning weekend with Footy Friday. I was ready to get it going.
Speaking of Footy Friday, how did you do, Chuck?
A little 4-1, so no complaints here.
All right. Well, if you're missing out on Footy Friday or Footy any day with Chuck, he also has baseball, hockey, everything, even the NBA. He's covering it all. Make sure you go check out his store, roicapper.com/store. Very simple. You just sign up, you get more picks. So if you like the picks you're getting here, just imagine if you had a little bit more. So you can get all that with Big Chuck. All right. We have our picks today. So we're going to go ahead and beat the book. So we're going to start off with Raphael, sir.
Yeah, very light card today. So I only have one play, but it's going to be one big winner. We're going to take the Mets Dodgers first 5 over 4.5 at -120. Dodgers lost yesterday, so you know they're going to be pretty PO today, and they can put up runs quickly. Otani can probably lead this game off of a home run. Then we just need only 3 more runs to cash this one. Dodgers have hit the first 5 over in 5 of their last 6 games. In the last 5 games at home versus the Mets, all 5 of them have gone over the total. I think we see a lot of runs tonight in Dodger Stadium.
All right. Well, speaking of that game, we're going to hit on it a little bit later. About 40 minutes or so, we'll hit on that game. But looking at that, Raphael, before we kind of get into the weekend rewind, get into all of that, I want to ask about that series. It was the Dodgers versus New York Yankees. How did you feel? Was that like a look into the future of what might be on both sides of the NL, AL in the World Series?
Maybe in the National League, I'm not sold on the Yankees. We saw some flaws. I mean, I think the Saturday night, I think they're still scoring runs on the Yankees bullpen. So I'm not sold on Yankees pitching staff, but the Dodgers are the Dodgers.
Mike, on that, continuing there, do you think that the Yankees are the real deal in the AL? Because I think everybody thinks that the Dodgers have come to play. They are the best team in the National League. Do you think the Yankees could be there as well?
I would love to just spew Dodgers hate and think that they're not going to do it, but no, I think they've proven themselves over the weekend. As far as the Yankees in the AL, I can't believe I'm about to say this. The Detroit Tigers look so real, and Tarek Skubal is just continuing to go on this path that he had last year. I'm not saying the Tigers are going to do it, but they're a team I'm definitely interested in watching. But that division is tough, and the Royals just made a big move over the weekend, so I'm excited to see the Tigers battle the Yankees in the AL.
The Royals, is that the Jack
Yeah,
Cagliano?
yep. Cagliatone, if you can say it. The man is a beast. He led the minor leagues in home runs while he was there, and he was fast tracked to the major leagues. I think he's going to provide Casey's offense with much needed power.
Yeah, the former Florida Gator, Jack Cags, we'll call him. All right,
Jack
well, Mike, go ahead and continue on with your pick, sir.
I am going from Rafael to Rafael Devers in tonight's Red Sox and Angels game. Give me Rafael Devers, 2 or more total bases. He's batting .429 against Angels starter Tyler Anderson. The Red Sox struggled over the weekend with the Atlanta Braves, where Trevor Story found the fountain of youth, and he was the guy to lead the offense. Give me Rafael Devers back at Fenway for 2 or more total bases. And then one of the most intriguing matchups in a slow slate of Monday baseball. Give me the Cincinnati Reds money line against the Milwaukee Brewers, who have quietly won 7 in a row. But I think that ends tonight. Brady Singer on the mound. He has the only win the Reds have over Milwaukee so far this year, 6-3 on the year. I like the Reds, who struggled against the Cubs, to bounce back against the Brewers.
Speaking of those Reds, we were looking at the Ellie De La Cruz this past Sunday, I believe it was yesterday, where he hit the home run the day after his sister passes. And so good story there, but just unfortunate to hear about that and coming into somebody's life. They're all humans in the end of the day. And so the fact that he was able to have a little bit of joy in a moment like that. All right, Big Chuck, you dominated on the pitch this weekend. How can you do? Can you respond on a Monday? What you got, Chuck?
We'll certainly try MLB. And speaking of the Reds, the Brewers come to town, and the Brew Crew bats have been hot. They come in actually riding a 7-game winning streak, and they've scored at least 5 runs in 8 of their last 10 games. I like Milwaukee's bats to stay hot in the Queen City. Brewers team total over 4.5. Then my nightcap, we're going to go to the Athletics and the Twins, and the homeless welcome the Twins to town. And Carlos Correa over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He has enjoyed this matchup against Severino over his career, batting .313, a home run, and 4 RBIs. I'd like him to surpass that again tonight. Plus, he's the visitor, opportunity to get that final at bat in a hitter-friendly ballpark.
Chuck calling the A's the homeless. That is just a deep cut. Their home is in Sacramento right now. Is that their home right now, Chuck?
Temporary, yeah, you can call it that.
just passing through. Just passing through. All right. Well, I have 2 plays today because Coach isn't here. We can't cash with a coach, so we'll cash with me as we continue on. And I'm going to go a little baseball as well, and that's going to be Max Meyer under the 7.5 strikeouts. It's at -120. He's had 7 or less strikeouts in 6 straight games. I know early in the season he was dominating, but not so much anymore. And yes, it is the Rockies, but they are only allowing 2 of the last 10 games to have the starting pitcher have 8 or plus Ks. So I don't expect this to continue. I think Max Meyer goes under this big number for him. So we're going to go the value play at the under 7.5 Ks at -120. And then everybody's favorite, the 2+ walks parlay, and it's +148. We're going to go start off with Stephen Kolek, which is a game that we're going to discuss a little bit later. It's 2+ walks in 4 of 5 starts this season. And then the other guy going against the Dodgers, his first start of the season, we're going Paul Blackburn. Man, I just don't see a way for him to wiggle out of this game without giving up at least 2 walks to the Dodgers, who rank second in walks drawn in the league. So both guys together, 2+ walks, we get a +148. All right. I know we have more plus money on the horizon. And look at the guy, Mullet Man, on the very far end. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, DG. I call it what you want, but it wins.
The mullet or your plays?
Both.
Okay. All right. Well, give us our just stats play of the day, sir.
You got it. Today's play of the day is all about trusting elite hitters in elite spots. And we're going to start with Boston's Rafael Devers, because kind of like Mike, we expect him to record at least one hit tonight. He's on a tear right now, hitting safely in 4 of his last 5 overall, in 8 of his last 10 home games versus lefties, where he's averaging 1.5 hits per game. He's back in Boston tonight, facing a southpaw, which is exactly where he's thrived lately. We're going to pair that with San Diego's Manny Machado to also get a hit. He has been laser locked, 8 hits in his last 9 games, and he's doing major damage on the road, averaging 1.6 hits per game over his last 10 road matchups. He sees righties well, and with Logan Webb likely to keep this game competitive, I'm expecting him to get his full at-bats. We're not asking for bombs. We're not asking for multi-hit games, just one knock each from 2 hitters that are crushing their current splits. Put them both together for your plus 103, Just a Stat Sports play of the day.
If you want more of those plays, like plays from myself, Robbie Hockey, Preston Bostain, there's a lot of guys that are the cappers over there at Just Stat Sports. You can go ahead and use the code BTT30 or just scan the QR code on the screen and get your first 30 days free. And we'll let Coach pay for those just for you all. All right, I want to get back to Mike here. I know Mike's here, and we just saw a little play of a 1+ hit for Rafael Devers. I know that just is a little synergy with you. Do you like it teamed up with a Machado 1+ hit?
I do. I think the Padres have been on fire of late. I mean, Manny Machado is one of the best hitters in baseball. And when you look at Rafael Devers, like I said, Trevor Story cannot be the Red Sox offense. He just can't be. And this offense has been struggling top to bottom since Alex Bregman's been injured and out of the lineup. So you got to hope Rafael Devers, his not only was his best game in a blowout against the Orioles where he cranked the grand slam against a position player, but let's see this be a little more consistent. So I do like both those guys. When you have 2 of the best hitters in baseball, you can't really bet against them.
Yeah, it's hard to go against them, but it's also hard to go against another peer of the co-hosting duties. Peyton. Looks like Peyton has a birthday today. I don't know. Do we know any idea what year it is? Is it 16, 17? Do we know what year he is celebrating today? Anybody? No idea. Is he 21 yet? Does anybody know if he's 21? I don't think he's 21 because he's entering. Is he, Mark, do you think he's 21?
I think he turns 21 this year.
Hey, look at Peyton. So a big shout out to Peyton, who has a birthday and is celebrating his birthday today. Obviously, he could not show up today with us. I don't know why he wouldn't want to show and celebrate his birthday with us, but you know how it is. Rafael, if you had to give any advice to a young Rafael, aka a young Peyton, what advice would you give him?
Oof, that's a great choice. Don't parlay. That's probably my biggest number one rule. When you just turn 21, you're going into the sports book and you see the parlay cards on football season and you see these SGPs all over the place. No, don't do it. Straight bets, round robins, anything, but don't parlay.
See, that's terrible. All right, from the other oldest fellow on this board today, I'm going to go to the very end, Mr. Mullet himself. Any advice, Mark, you would give to a young Peyton on a 21st birthday?
Look, at 21, and it's the oldest and the youngest on this panel that have the most hair amongst everybody, keep the locks, Peyton. Keep the locks. They'll take you far.
Wow. Just always talking about your stupid hair. All right, we're going to continue on this show today. It's a beautiful start and a beautiful day. We're going to talk a little bit more of hoops in about 18 minutes. We're going to ask the question, can you win a championship with Jalen Brunson? It's all about the Weekend Rewind, College World Series, UFC, all that, much more right here at Coaching Company. All right, we are going to continue as we always do here at the break. And we're going to talk a little bit of maybe a Sandlot. I think we got a video we want to go ahead and tune up, sir.
Now, coming to bat, the great Hambino, Ham Porter! beautiful ovation for Ham Porter. Everybody's got a phone camera out right now of Ham Porter, who's calling his shot against Neil Lang. Everybody very familiar with the prodigious power. He swings through a fastball.
Come on, Nunez. Call that the heater?
This one looped into shallow right.
Fans, one more time for the great Hambino!
Nothing better than watching our Sandlot friends show out. But I want to ask you, Raphael, how would you do in that moment trying to hit off a pitcher? Would you be okay?
I'd probably be okay, but I would start off right-handed, and then the second pitch I would switch and go left-handed because I can switch go both ways. So I would confuse the pitcher.
No way. You're actually a old school switch hitter.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that. Mike, how about you? How would you do?
I think I would do better than him because that is terrible. There's so many things that I noticed in that. Why are you showing those awful whiffs that he had? And then when he actually hit the ball, it cut away so fast to the dugout shot. It's like, did he catch the ball? I think I could do better than Ham Porter.
Wow. All right, Chuck, how would you do, sir?
As long as I got some practice in, I think I would be just fine, but I would definitely need a lot of practice.
He's not throwing super fast, Mark. You got about 10 seconds. How would you think you would fare in this competition? Well, and you're on mute.
Yeah, no, I was not here. I feel for the guy. It looked like he was a little rusty since the Sandlot days.
Definitely a little rusty. I think I would fare well enough. At least I better. All right, we'll be right back here, Coach Company, in 5 seconds. All right, and everybody knows we had a little weekend, and the weekend's always definitely a lot of fun, but we have a lot of stuff that we want to get into, and something that we call the Weekend Rewind. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can chat a little bit. And you've been a little angry, Raphael, but I think you might be less angry. I don't know. What are you talking about with the College World Series?
Yeah, everyone knows I have to watch a lot of stuff because I put odds out for a lot of stuff and I handicap a lot of stuff. So I was watching softball and College World Series this weekend, and boy, was I laughing watching the College World Series because my couch is full of teams right now. You know who's on my couch watching the College World Series? Vanderbilt. Yeah, they were hosting it. You know who else is on my couch? Texas. They lost as well. And then the creme of the creme, Oregon, who also hosted a regional. They're on my couch. What happened to these teams? Wright State. LSU could be on my couch tonight because Arkansas Little Rock, who comes in with a losing record, could be on my couch tonight. So College World Series, boy, it's really bad right now, especially the SEC teams. I guess it really doesn't mean more.
Wow. Any chance you could take a shot at the SEC, you always do. But I do think that the SEC is they still have teams still around. It's not like they had, I think, 8 teams that entered into like the super regionals. And so I still think they're doing okay, Raphael. Seabass is yelling at you right now, 100%. All right, well, we're going to continue on, and we have a little bit of UFC. I know Coach isn't here to talk PFL, but we're talking about the UFC craziness. What you got here, Mike?
Not only UFC, but combat sports as a whole. As you guys know, like I'm in the middle of a move. So on Saturday night, I'm like, the Pacers game is a blowout. Let's watch some fights. In boxing, Caleb Plant fumbles the bag, as the kids say, in his big fight. So I'm like, let's watch the UFC. They do the main event feature. They play the video interviews with both women, Macy Barber, Erin Blanchfield, and right before the fighters are supposed to walk, they announce on the broadcast that Macy Barber is medically not clear to compete, and then all the rumors start flying. I'm not going to address one rumor, but the other rumor was that she had a seizure backstage, and it's just showing what is happening in the UFC in 2025. The product is watered down. Now, we do have a big UFC pay-per-view this upcoming weekend with Sean O'Malley and Marab rematch, but when you have something like this, it really, and it's at the UFC Apex, it just shows how bad the product can be. Stop putting on fights every weekend and make the right fights.
So the entire card, was it a downer to you in your opinion?
Yeah, the whole card. I mean, social media was like, this is the worst card ever. And when the fights aren't producing and then the main event doesn't happen, it's pretty much a lock for the worst event for the UFC in 2025 so far. And it just begs the question, why are we continuing to just have fights just to have fights?
Listen, we're 5 months into the year, and you're saying, and Raphael, back it up on this. Do you think that was possibly the worst showing or the worst card for UFC this year?
That might be the worst card in the last couple of years. Because we had canceled fights before the fights, because a lot of people couldn't make weight. I guess because In and Out is so close to the Apex Center, people can't make weight. But yeah, it was a disaster from the start.
We're just throwing a shot at one. The fact that everybody's just loading up on In and Out. Raphael, have you had In and Out before?
Oh, that's right. In my house in Vegas, it's really pretty close. So every time I go back, that's the first thing I get.
Mike?
No, I've never had.
Oh,
Chuck.
no.
All right, I've had it
Nada.
one time. It's very overrated.
Oh, I'm out. Everyone have a great day.
I think it's it's good for fast food, but as producer man says, it's overrated. It is very overrated. Like what they give you. Now, the only thing I will say that isn't overrated is the fact that they actually set you up with your burger. They fold it perfectly so you can get it and eat it when you're going through the drive-through. That is the only thing that I am impressed with In-N-Out is that. Anyway, we'll move on. We've already made you mad today. We're going to continue on, but we're talking a little bit of footy. So, Chuck, we're going to go to you. What happened on your weekend, sir?
On Saturday, PSG finally won the Champions League trophy after so many years of disappointment. The Parisians lifted the title, took that monkey off their back, and that officially closed the book on European soccer league play and Champions League. But never fear, the great thing about this sport is when one league stops, another begins. We turn the page on to this summer in June. We're going to have some Nations League this week, some FIFA Club World Cup, which should be exciting. World Cup qualifiers, and our big money maker over the summer, the MLS and Leagues Cup.
Footy, the FIFA, Chuck. Very
Little FIFA.
I mean, not FIFA, but the World Cup. It's coming up. Are you excited about that? I'm not the soccer.
About a year from now, it will be taking place. But I'm interested to see how everything's going to go down now with Mexico and Canada and the United States not exactly getting along like they were when they made this deal. So it should be pretty entertaining.
Wow. All right. Well, let's not get politics involved in this show. I've already made enough people mad with talking about In-N-Out Burger. I'll continue on, but I do have a little rant that I want to go on. And this isn't exactly a rant, but we're losing two of the shows kinda from our childhood, especially my childhood. And no, we're not talking about the Flintstones for Raphael. We're talking about Around the Horn. It was been on since 2002, and they finally had their final episode this past week. It was a good episode. They brought a lot of the people back that had made the show what it was. But it's the end of an era. And I'm curious if the direction of our sports shows, are they really going to be as genuine as a show like that was? I'm not sure if that's going to exactly happen, but I'm curious to see what takes its place as we continue on with other shows on ESPN. But then there's Inside the NBA, which is now going to be coming off of TNT, and they're going to make their way onto ESPN. My issue with this, it's not about the networks or who pays the most money. I'm just curious, is the show going to be able to be the same? I know they're bringing over their same guys. They're bringing over the same producers, everybody to run it. But I'm curious if ESPN will allow them to kind of do the same thing. I know we've heard, and I want to ask the guys a little bit of their opinion. And Rafi, I want to ask you, do you think that ESPN will allow them to keep like the same magic that they were able to create on this show? Because they have a different way, even though it's the same producers, the network of ESPN has a different way of running their shows and their sports talk shows. You think that they'll allow them to be who they actually are?
Yes, because ESPN has two guys that pretty much can say anything they want and not get in trouble. So I think they'll be okay. Maybe Chuck might get in a little bit of a hot water here and there, but they'll be able to do whatever they want. Especially Big Chuck. Everyone loves Big Chuck.
Big Chuck, I'm going to come to you on this one. Do you think that we have inside the NBA and it actually stays the magical show that it is? You think they continue doing the same stuff over on ESPN?
I would think they would have to. I would think that would be the reason they brought them over in the first place. It's probably written into their contract. They have certain loopholes to get away with certain things that they say. I would think they would keep everything the same, stay on par, nothing changes.
Do you feel the same way?
I definitely do not. I think the first time Charles Barkley says something about the women down in San Antonio, ESPN is going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I understand that ESPN has a lot of talking heads that can get away with a lot of things. But the thing with inside the NBA is they've always carried the respect of the players. So inside the NBA has to be the platform that continues that great relationship with the NBA, because not a lot of NBA guys, LeBron James, are lining up to talk to Stephen A. Smith or any of the talking heads on ESPN. There's more beef there. And I think inside the NBA needs to play peacemaker, but they need to be unfiltered. And I don't think that'll stay the same.
Raphael.
No, we need the negative stories. We need to talk on social media to keep it fresh. I don't agree with that. And LeBron James is not going to be there forever. So we quit mentioning guys like LeBron and Steph Curry and all that and Kevin Durant. They're out the door pretty soon.
I agree. And I don't think that if you talk about the relationships, Mike, I'm going to come back to you. I don't know if the relationship with inside the NBA is as great as you say it is, because they've been taking a lot of shots at the guys that are coming up. They're calling it friendship ball because they're all being friends when they play instead of actually going head to head against each other. So I don't know if that is actually what really it is. I think it's more about the show in a sense. I don't think it's about them having the respect of the actual players on the court.
Maybe I'll say it's more authentic in my eyes. From a
Okay.
viewing standpoint, it's way more authentic to me because these guys aren't yelling, right? And I don't care how these player rivalries kind of shape up. When Shaq or Kenny or Chuck are talking, most of the time it's from a experience standpoint. I don't want to hear what Mad Dog Russo has to say about NBA players or Stephen A. Smith, right? When it's constructive criticism, which I really think it is, even if it's unwarranted, I think that's where it feels more authentic compared to the other guys on ESPN.
Yeah, I do like the authentic word. I like how you frame that a little bit better. All right. Well, over the weekend, and especially it was yesterday that we lost someone from the sports world, but it was the sports science guy. And Raphael, I know you want to hit on this before we got to our break. So your thoughts and just kind of overwhelming of what this is about.
Yeah, working in sports books, I watch ESPN all day long because there's no games on there, and I used to love this segment of sports science. And John Brinkus, who passed away yesterday, who battled through depression year after year, lost his battle yesterday. I kind of wanted to mention to people because I've lost some friends to this battle. If you need someone to talk to someone. Talk to me. I'll put my number in the chat. You can call me. I may not even know you, but when you're having issues with stuff like that, just talk to someone. Laugh at someone. Tell a joke. Do something, because you can change someone's life just on one single laugh.
And that's what really all we need is a little bit of more laughter in life. And when it does get tough, life is tough. And I know that we don't want to dive too deep into that, but it really is. And very truer words have never been spoken, Raphael. So I do appreciate that. So if you have anybody that you need to reach out to, go ahead and do it today. Don't wait for another day. All right. As we continue the show, it is obviously it's tough to transition from that, but we're going to continue as we always do. We're going to be it's heating up on the diamond tonight, and we're going to talk about the two of the best NL teams out as a battle on the West Coast. But right after the break, we're hooping it up. We're going to talk about the Pacers. They took down the Knicks. So we have some questions that we want to get into about those Knicks. But what do the Pacers need to do to take down the championship favorite OKC Thunder? Did we really think that two small market teams would come together here in the NBA Finals? All of that and much more right here at Coach and Company. All right, it's time to talk a little hockey. Yeah, we're going to talk some hockey here, and I'm going to bring in mark here on the discussion, but we now have the NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals, Mark, heating up on Wednesday. And so we have the Panthers and the Oilers taking a place in this. And so your thoughts just overall breaking down this matchup, and how do you see it?
Look, this is going to be an explosive and an incredible NHL Stanley Cup Finals. And without disrespecting or taking away from anything that Edmonton's already achieved this year, the Florida Panthers aren't just trying to win the cup, though. They're built to repeat. This is the same squad that beat Edmonton in a 7-game war last year, and they've only gotten tougher. They've got elite balance with Kachuk and Reinhart both racking up over 80 points this season, and they're not relying on one line to get it done. All 4 lines can get it done. Their defense is locked in. Ekblad, Forsling are shutting down top lines. And Bobrovsky is playing like he's 27 again. He's just been composed, clutched, and he's absolutely cold-blooded when he's in the crease. The biggest twist, Edmonton lost Zach Hyman. He's out for the rest of the playoffs. He had shoulder surgery. That's a brutal blow to Edmonton's depth and power play punch. With Panthers coach Paul Maurice pushing all the right buttons, Florida isn't just poised, they're dangerous. Panthers in 6.
JC1 saying Florida in 6. So you got a little love in the chat. But Chuck, I know you've been on the Oilers a little bit. So they're the home team. They get game 1 on their home ice. Do you like them in this series?
I've kind of waffled. I was originally on Florida, but the more that this series is, more it's transitioned to the finals, I'm seeing myself back in the Oilers, especially getting that home ice, that last change, and potentially 4 of the 7 games. Plus, they're coming back. This is going to be Florida's 3rd time in the championship round. I'm wondering if that'll take a toll on those legs also. Plus, Edmonton does have the revenge factor after losing last season. Plus, they have the 2 best players in the league, Draisaitl and McDavid. I just think this is potentially Edmonton's year to go ahead and hoist that trophy over the.
All right. Well, we're going to have a little bit more of the hockey talk soon, but not today. We'll be back here in 5 seconds. All right. We are back here on Coaching Company, and today we're going to have a little fun, and we're going to talk the NBA Finals. So let's go ahead and hoop it up. We are back here at Coaching Company, and I am your host today. I'm stepping in for Coach. I am Daniel Greer, but we have our 3 guys with us. We're going to break down the NBA Finals, but we have some questions because what we saw the Pacers take down the Knicks, and Mike, I want to start off with you on this one. We had the Pacers honestly dominate, in my opinion, and they won at home there in Indiana. But it seemed like there were so many questions revolving around the Knicks, and especially off the court now. There's been some mudslinging. That always happens with these big market teams. But I want to ask you a simple question. Can the Knicks actually win a championship as Jalen Brunson is their best player?
And my answer is going to be a little complex, DG, because in today's NBA, it's not just about your start. That's where we focus in today's NBA. But the very zesty Karl Anthony Towns and the supporting cast around Jalen Brunson is where the conversation should be. I think Mikal Bridges is a good, not great player. I wouldn't have made the trade that they made to get him. I think you want to keep continuity, but also more than Jalen Brunson, because to answer the question, yes, I do think you can win with Jalen Brunson. I don't know if you can win with that supporting cast, and I really don't know if you can win with Tom Thibodeau.
With that supporting cast, like that supporting cast is loaded. They play literally 7 guys max most games, Mike. I don't understand the supporting cast, but we'll put the little pin in that topic real quick. But I want to come back to you, Raphael, and see if you feel the same way. Do you think Jalen Brunson can be your best player and you're able to win a championship?
I think you can, but you need another scoring piece. I think that's why they're going to maybe pick up the phone and call Phoenix to see, hey, is KD available? Because you need another scoring piece to add with Cat. But I'm not sold on their pieces, as Mike can say, because there's more people on the Friends bench or Friends coach's chair than there is in people coming off the bench in the Knicks, because no one comes off. There's only playing 7 guys. But another thing that scares me It's not sure can the Knicks win with Brunson. Can the Knicks win with Tibbs? That's my main question.
Wow, that's 2 times we've talked about Tibbs already. Chuck, your thoughts on Brunson? Can he be the best player and be on a championship winning team?
I don't believe so. We've already seen this with him. He keeps coming up as the bridesmaid. There was a reason why the Mavericks got rid of him and didn't keep him, and they decided to move on. I just think at some point he's just going to be one that just almost gets there, but never gets over the hump. But I do agree he definitely needs some more help. Running out 7, 8 men, it's just going to wear this team down each season.
Well, thank you, Big Chuck, because I feel the same way. I think Tibbs is fine. I know he's running out a lot of the same players, but when you're paying those guys that much, that's who you want to be on the court. Like, I've never seen a team say, hey, our guys play too much. I get it. It kind of wears you down over times. But Big Chuck was right. It's not about that. It's about, is Jalen Brunson the bridesmaid? He can get you there. He can get you to a finals. He can get you to a conference finals. I don't think he's the guy that can actually win you the game. And because of that, I do think that the answer is true. He cannot get you there and win you a championship. I just don't think he has it. He is the bridesmaid. And so I love that for you, Big Chuck. I love how you brought that and backed me up on my take. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the NBA Finals. And we want to discuss a little bit more of it as we have some thoughts on here. But we're opening up at 9.5. And Raphael, you are the numbers guy. So let's go ahead and start with you. Do you like this first game? We don't want to break too much down to it because it doesn't start till Thursday. But this first game, 9.5, is that just crazy? Do you see an NBA Finals game open up at 9.5?
I think the highest one we've seen is -12 with I think it was Golden State. It was the highest number. Game one came up, but this one is weird. I would, if you like Indiana, grab the 9.5 now because I don't think it's going to be 9. I think the public's going to be betting the dog, just like how they're betting the series price. The series price opened up at -750, and now it's pretty much 650 across the board. So just like Mike can pay attention on this one. Everyone bets the dog on UFC and MMA. I think everyone's going to be betting the dog in the NBA Finals because they're going to be watching it. Why bet a heavy favorite when you can just try to roll the dice and get dog to cash?
Mike, does this line just scare you away if you were an Oklahoma City Thunder fan? Would this scare you at all? Because it's 9.5 is a huge number.
It absolutely would. And as someone who has a little bit of, I'll say, betting interest on this line, particularly for the Indiana Pacers, I will say that I would do it, even though people around me wouldn't advise it. I'd put my life savings on the Pacers plus 9.5. Momentum matters in the NBA Finals. And with the Oklahoma City Thunder just kind of resting, kind of chilling out, they haven't been tested a lot throughout these playoffs. I like the Pacers, who have been battle tested at plus 9.5 in this one.
Chuck, he's now lost his life savings after the Thunder win by 10 points now in game one on Thursday. So, Chuck, your opinion, this number on the total, which you are a totals guy, 230.5, another large total. Do you like it, love it, anything about this as your first glance?
It looks like it's standing pat also. I don't see any movement. I've seen 230.5 when it opened, and we're still seeing that number. I'm actually seeing it kind of tick up. I'm interested to see if we get to 231 and above. But it does look like if you do like the Pacers, same as the last series, there's the recipe to success is higher scoring. You see that last game, they won and it went over. So if you're liking the Pacers, which I'm also seeing some nines, so definitely money's coming on them. I would suppose they would be the public dogs. People are going to see 9.5 and just cannot get away from that, thinking that's way too many points. But usually in those first games, we'll see a blowout by the home team or vice versa, but usually a blowout by the home team. Then we come back and back the visitors in game two.
Well, a blowout, Mike's sleeping on the curb. But Raphael, what you got?
This one we'll see 231 or higher on the total because the most popular bet are teasers, either taking the Pacers getting more points and the over or dropping OKC down and the over. So everyone likes the total going over. We could see 232 because don't forget, this game is Thursday. Today's only Monday.
All right. Well, that's going to, definitely a good tease there because the Thursday matchup, we have plenty of time to break this entire matchup down as we talk about the different guys. But I do have some questions here because these are two small market teams. And Raphael, I want to come back to you to start here. We're talking about Oklahoma, right? And then Indiana. This is not really your New Yorks and your LAs and all of that. Like, we're talking about two small market teams. Do you think that we see a huge dip down because of the two small markets, just because ratings and overall?
I think ratings, yes, but I love what Indiana did when they won the Eastern Conference. They were talking about how Indiana, the state of Indiana, loves basketball. I loved how they embraced that when they win it, because I think that's going to catch on, because everyone in the Midwest, oh yeah, Indiana, Hoosiers won titles, all that. Now maybe the Pacers can win the title. So I love how they embrace the state of Indiana basketball. Now, OKC, what are you going to do to pull your weight to try to sell this?
Do you think that this NBA Finals is going to be hurt because of the two small markets that are playing in it?
Well, I don't know if hurt. I think the ratings will be hurt, yes, but the interest is there, right? Because just like Raphael just said, Indiana, the Hoosier State, right? Caitlin Clark, Tyrese Halliburton, they have captured basketball audiences. And then in Oklahoma City, what else is there to do in the great state of Oklahoma, especially in Oklahoma City? You have the NBA's MVP. I think these two home fan bases will carry the public interest in this one. The ratings may be down, and there's no bad blood. There's no rivalry, but true basketball fans will be interested.
Yeah, well, Chuck, same thing to you. Like, I know that everybody's talking about, hey, the game will be good, the ratings could be down, but that's kind of where I'm going at is I think that the ratings will be down. We're talking about casuals, not us nerds that are going to watch no matter who's playing in the NBA Finals. We're talking about the NBA casual fans. We're talking about a finals. And so, Chuck, do you think that this hurts the game because of having two of the smaller markets playing in the finals?
The ratings are definitely going to be down. The networks were rooting for the Knicks secretly; they wanted to get them in. But for the novice fan, they're probably going to tune away. It'll probably get all-time lower ratings. But for the true NBA fan, we love this one. I think it's going to be a great matchup. We'll see first ever NBA champ out of one of these two teams. But I definitely think these ratings could take a hit. I'm interested to see what the final numbers are.
Yeah, I am too. So as we get going on this game, there are obviously our star players, kind of star players, but we have two guys that are up and coming in Tyrese Halliburton, but also Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I wanted to add in a Robin to their Batman. And so I want to ask and go through this. Would you rather have Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam as your duo, or would you rather go to the other side? Would you go SGA and J-Dub, Jalen Williams, as they call him, J-Dub, but would you go Tyrese's side or would you go SGA's side? Raphael.
Oh, give me the MVP, because we all know Tyrese can be MIA at a lot of times. So SGA is the MVP. And if we want ratings to maybe creep up, or we want people to watch this one, I think SGA has to have his magic moment, his Michael moment, his Larry moment. So maybe he can carry games 4, 5, and 6 if it goes that far. I think SGA and anybody else in OKC can carry us.
Yeah, he might carry you to the free throw line. Mike, I see you shaking your head. What are your thoughts? What duo would you take?
I would take Hallie and Siakam 10 times before I took SGA and J-Dub. You talk about Tyrese Halliburton being MIA. J-Dub can also go MIA. And when Tyrese Halliburton shows back up, he's hitting logo threes. He's throwing no-look passes. He's getting in the opponent's face. There is charisma on that side, where the only charisma, like you said, DG, from SGA is how many times he takes a trip to the free throw line. And if he's not showing his character, Pascal Siakam is dropping 40 on your head.
I do like Siakam. That's really what changes for me. Chuck, you got about 30 seconds. Who would you take in this duo? Would you take the Pacers duo or would you take the Thunder duo?
Pacers all day, and it's because of Siakam. J-Dub is just too iffy. It's always going to be if he has a big game, if he comes out to play. It's always a big if with him. Siakam, he's a proven commodity.
I like that. And I was curious which directions y'all would go. But I think the thing is with me, very similar to what Mike and Chuck was talking about, is you're talking about Siakam. Siakam was the deciding favorite. I like Siakam over Jalen Williams so much more. All right, we continue on at Coach and Company. We're about to break down two best matchups in Major League Baseball tonight. Plus, we got Raphael's inside info that I promise you do not want to miss. Not everybody can make it here, as always, at the start of the show, so we make sure that we go ahead and lock it in for you and see if there's any lines that have changed here. But we'll be right back here at Coach and Company. All right. There's been a lot of news already coming out with Giannis. And so bringing the guys back in, Raphael, I'm going to start with you. There is some news now tying Giannis with the Toronto Raptors, which is a little interesting on both sides. So what do you make of this? And has there been some live movement on maybe the projected team that Giannis goes to?
Yeah, we had Toronto at 5-1. Now it's 2-1. Some shops have now had plus 250. But I'm going to say don't sleep on the San Antonio Spurs. They may be a nice landing spot for that. And boy, would that be a fun team to watch if he's on the Spurs.
I do not want him going to the Spurs, Mike. Giannis is still in Milwaukee. He's under contract for one more year, or actually he's at 2 more years. But the problem is now Damian Lillard is hurt. And so there's some issues around that. Can they piece together a team that would be good enough, even though they have to eat the contract of Damian Lillard because he's going to be out for majority, if not all, of the next season? So where do you see Giannis going to? Do you think he does go into Toronto, or do you think he ends up somewhere else?
Well, this is a little message to Milwaukee's front office. If you're going to trade Giannis to Toronto, you better get Scotty Barnes, right? I don't want all these bad trades that we've seen throughout the NBA where these superstars get shipped off for a bag of Skittles. It's just ridiculous. So I think the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, and when you have as many picks as they do, watch out for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I agree, but there's only so many picks you can give. I think that you get the max amount from any team that is going to trade. Chuck, do you see Giannis going anywhere outside of Milwaukee?
I thought that I was always thinking he was going to go to the Rockets. I thought they had enough young inventory to send him with picks included, and I just can't see the Bucks sending him to the East. I thought he would go to the West, not keeping him in the same division. That wouldn't make much sense to me. I'm sure the fans wouldn't be excited. I'm still sticking with a Texas team, either the Rockets or maybe even those sneaky Spurs.
He did say that he wanted to go somewhere where there was no state income tax. I don't know if y'all know this, but Tennessee doesn't have state income tax, and we do have the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll be more than welcome to welcome Giannis into the fold here in Memphis. I don't know what we can do to get that. We'll figure it out. We'll be right back here at Coach Company. All right, we are back here at Coaching Company live on the Stadium Network. Thank you for hanging out with us. We want to talk a little bit of Major League Baseball, and there are some good matchups tonight that we want to get into. So as we bring the guys back in here, Raphael, we now have 2 of the best National League teams, and we know that the Chicago Cubs have the night off, and they are tied with the best record in the National League. So let's go ahead and move past them. I know that you wanted me to mention them because they're your favorite team. But besides them, the 2 best teams right now are the New York Mets, and they're going out to the LA Dodgers. What do you make about this game tonight? Do you think that we have a little bit of Dodger magic? I know you like them to bounce back after losing the series to the Yankees.
I actually like the fade teams who are coming off Sunday Night Baseball, especially if they use their bullpen a lot. And the Dodgers used some of their bullpen over the weekend against the Yankees. And I think this series price is a little bit too high. Yes, you can bet series price. It's a 3-game series. The Dodgers are minus 175 to win this series against the Mets. And you know who's pitching for the Dodgers in this 3-game series? Clayton Softball Kershaw. So I want nothing to do with the Dodgers on this series price.
And we're going to you, Mike. Dustin May is going up against Paul Blackburn. And so this is Paul Blackburn's first start of the season after coming off a knee injury. Do you like the Dodgers to take down the National League leading record in the New York Mets?
Yeah, Paul Blackburn, who had an ERA north of 5 last season in very short time. If you're going to the game tonight, bring your gloves. I think the ball will be flying out of there. It's bad. It's going to be very bad for the New York Mets. And it's crazy that they're still leading in the National League when it feels like they're just on a roller coaster of a season so far.
Definitely. And Chuck, you are the totals guy. Do you like the line? Any lines on this game at all?
I was definitely looking at this total. It looks like it's being juiced up. It was around minus 115, minus 110. Now I'm seeing some minus 125s. I'm sure it'll hook to the 9.5. Do think we'll see some runs, but if you remember, these two just matched up. I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago. They had a rain delay in Clayton Kershaw's start. He never got to finish that game. So I think Dodgers tonight, the Mets get the one with Kershaw, and I think it'll be the rubber game who wins that series.
Yeah, so we're looking at the Mets. They're 4-5, 4 wins out of the last 5 games, with the best record. And the Dodgers, 3 of the last 5 games, they've gotten wins. And I misspoke earlier. The Dodgers actually took the series from the Yankees. They just dropped the game last night. And so and the other game I want to get into real quick is we're talking about the Padres at the Giants. San Diego they won both games earlier in the season, but they are National League West rivals. They're both kind of in the wild card hunt at this moment. We're going Stephen Kolek against Logan Webb. Rafael, do you like anybody in this matchup tonight?
I was looking at the fathers tonight at maybe plus 150 because the Giants have been on the road for 9 straight games. So, yes, they got to sleep in their own bed, but that's kind of a night switch to come back from a big road trip. So maybe some value with the San Diego Fathers tonight, and maybe the Giants can win Tuesday and Wednesday.
Mike, what's your thoughts?
I like Logan Webb in this one, especially at strikeouts of 5 or more. I know the Padres have a very good, potent lineup, but when you're going up against Stephen Kolek, I like the Giants hitters against Stephen Kolek more than I like the Padres hitters against Logan Webb, who is still one of the best arms in baseball.
Hopefully the Giants can just get at least 2 walks from Stephen Kolek. That's all we need on my side of things. But Chuck, on the totals and any numbers that you like on this game.
Looks like we have a lower scoring pitcher duels, what they are foreseeing in this one. But it's almost an automatic rule that you would go ahead and fade the team that's coming back from that long road trip. You could even look at the run line with the Padres if they're thinking it's going to be lower scoring. Maybe the Giants in the first 5 and the Padres on the run line, maybe a 2-1 type of game.
All right. So if you're looking at the run line at all, it is San Diego on the money line is plus 150. So they're expecting the Giants to take this game. Game 1 tonight on the back of Logan Webb. So we'll see if the numbers play out that way. All right. Well, if you weren't able to hang out with us at the very beginning of the show, have no fear. We have our picks. Any line movement, we'll make sure we get them to you. But let's go ahead and lock it in. All right, let's go ahead and start. And Chuck, if you will start us off, sir.
MLB, Brewers and the Reds and the Brew Crew come in red hot, having scored at least 5 runs in 8 of their last 10 games. Go ahead and give me Brewers team total over 4.5. And then the nightcap, we have the Twins and the Homeless Athletics with DeCarlos Correa over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He's enjoyed this his career versus Severino with a .313 batting average, 1 home run, and 4 RBIs. I think he surpasses that number again tonight.
All right. Well, Rafael, you're on that Mets-Dodgers game. What's your pick?
Yeah, give me the Mets-Dodgers first 5 over 4.5 at minus 120. Last 5 home games these two teams met, all 5 of them have gone over. So cash that ticket and go get a double-double over at In-N-Out.
Wow. All right. We have another shocker. We have the Boston Red Sox play. What you got there, Mike?
Give me Rafael Devers 2 or more total bases at a plus 100. He's batting .429 against Angel starter Tyler Anderson. The proof is in the pudding on that one. And then give me the Cincinnati Reds money line over the Milwaukee Brewers, who are quietly on a 7-game win streak. That's a minus 120. Brady Singer has given the Reds their only win against the Brewers this season. I like the Cincinnati Reds.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead with my 2 plays here. At Max Meyer under 6.5 strikeouts. It's at minus 120. Max Meyer has not been dominating as of late. He's had 7 or less strikeouts in the last 6 games. Then we're going to go the 2+ walks parlay at plus 148. We're going to go and target that Stephen Kolek 2+ walks in 4 of 5 starts this season. And then Paul Blackburn making your first start in LA. I expect him to at least give up 2 walks. We're going to cash that at plus 148. All right, we have Mark here with Just the Stats Sports. What you got with your play of the day?
Today's play of the day is all about trusting elite hitters. We're going to start off with Boston's Rafael Devers to record a hit tonight. He's on a tear, hitting safely in 4 of his last 5 and 8 of his last 10 home games versus lefties. He's at home versus a southpaw tonight. Love this spot for him. We're going to pair that with San Diego's Manny Machado to also get a hit. He has done this in 8 of his last 9 games, and on the road, he's averaging 1.6 hits per game in his last 10. He sees righties well. Facing Logan Webb, I love this spot for him as well. Put them both together for a plus 103. Just the Stat Sports play of the day.
Never wrong to go with some plus money. So go ahead and get more plays just like that one over at justthestatsports.com. You can scan the QR code live on your screen right there, or you can just go and use the code BTT30 for your first 30 days free. All right, we have Raphael's inside info. Make us smarter, sir.
We'll move to 9.5. I say grab the 9.5 because the money will be plus money on a total, and the wind's supposed to be blowing out anywhere between 10 to 11 miles per hour.
Mark, real quick, what's your thoughts on that total? What is the model telling us on tonight?
Model has 2 spots that are going over. Dodgers and the homeless in Sacramento. So they both love both those games. Yeah, grab it now.
The homeless. Chuck, do you agree with the homeless there, that play?
I couldn't agree more. Love it.
All right. Mike, do you have any thoughts on that game? Because it looks like the Dodgers going over is the key to success.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to bet against that Dodgers team, but I'm going to pick a bone. Can you guys stop picking on the Athletics, right? They're going to have the AL Rookie of the Year. It's just surprising to me that as bad as they may be, as homeless as they may be, they have young talent. And Jacob Wilson, AL Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
They're going to be there for a while because Vegas Stadium is like almost 6 months behind schedule. So we might see them in Sacramento longer than we thought we would.
So when is the projected date? You got about 15 seconds, Raphael. Are they going to play there next year?
No, there's no way next year. No way.
So where do they go if it's not ready?
I have no clue.
They call
that on my couch.
They call that homeless.
Yes. All right. So maybe they actually are, but they're in Sacramento right now. A great show, boys. I had a lot of fun on a beautiful Monday, but we have Coach returning tomorrow. So I promise the show won't be as good as when I host, but he'll be back. But for everybody on the show, for Mark, for Raphael, for Mike, Chuck, and always producer man, I am Daniel Greer. Thank you for hanging out and making us a part of your day right here at Coaching Company.